professionalism, I don't know what is. But so just yet another, crazy ingredient into last night's Game 1 of the World Series. Ultimately, it goes to inning number 14 before the Royals finally score a run. The Mets really looked to be deflated once that game-tying home run in the ninth took place. They couldn't do anything, it seemed like, but strike out in the 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, and 14th innings. So that, to me, these are the keys moving forward in this series, is how the Mets bounce back from this Game 1. Their bats, which they have been riding a ton, well, I shouldn't say riding, but I mean, like, their bats have been incredible this postseason. Murphy's going to set a franchise record for postseason home runs this year. The bats for the Mets have been amazing. And the starting pitching and the closing for the Mets has been amazing as well throughout the whole postseason up until this point. With the way last night's game ended, it is going to be incredibly interesting to see, I think, first and foremost, if the Mets bats stay cooled off now. If they lost whatever swagger, moxie, magic, mojo, essence, the life force, the libido, what the French call a certain, I don't know what. If they lost that, they're done. Like, that's it, they're done. Kansas City is too good of a team. The only way the Mets can win this series is if they continue to play the best baseball, which is what they've been doing, as I said. Great hitting, great pitching. If either one of those goes, they go. And I think that's the most likely when you feel like you won Game 1 on the road in the championship series, and then, heartbreak, they tie it up, and from there you have a 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, and 14th inning. You have, 4 or 5 extra innings to get one run, and your bats have been getting you to this point, and they just all of a sudden, boom, they're done. They're cold as can be. Strikeouts galore. I think I have a funny feeling that is going to carry forward in this series, and that the Mets are either going to get swept or lose in 5. I don't see the Mets coming back from that Game 1 loss. Just the way their sails appeared to be deflated. I don't see it happening. But you never know. The one other thing, should the bats keep them in games, and not be cooled off now for the rest of the for the remainder of the series, would be if Familia, the closer of the Mets, lost any of his mojo, what the French call a certain I don't know what, in blowing that save last night. But so we'll have to check in and see what happened here tonight in Game 2. Again, I am predicting another Royals victory. I'm predicting Mets lost their mojo and either get swept or lose in 5. There is no game on Thursday. Let's see, we had last night's game was Game 1. And then tonight, Wednesday night, here's Game 2. Thursday is off. And then on Friday and Saturday is in New York. And on Sunday, Game 5, if necessary, would also be in New York. Now, I bring that up for a very important reason. Should the World Series not go to a minimum of 5 games, it will be the biggest tragedy that could befall sports fans in America this year. I say that because we have one day, with the World Series being on an off travel day tomorrow, Thursday night, we have one potential day out of all 365 in the calendar year where all 4 major sports are up and running and playing and have games on the exact same day. That is right. If the World Series can go to a minimum of a fifth game. We got to make it to Game 5. If that happens, it will be this Sunday. There will also be, so we will have a World Series Game 5 on Sunday. We will also have NFL football on Sunday. We will also have hockey on Sunday because the NHL regular season is underway and we're a couple weeks into it. We got 10 plus games under the belt now, somewhere in there. And the NBA season has started last night and continues tonight. And there will be NBA games on Sunday. So all 4 of the major big giant sports will be going on and playing on the same day. And the only chance for that to happen at all on any day this year is this Sunday. So we're cheering for the Mets to win at least one. They either got to win here tonight or Game 3 or Game 4 so that we can have that one magic day with all 4. It's the Four Corners Day, eclipse type event of sports. It does not happen often. It can't happen more than once or twice a year. So let's hope. Let's hope that the World Series gets to a Game 5. But to finish up, there's your baseball talk, as early on as we are. And next week when we're talking, like I said, we'll either be discussing how the series played out, who won, who lost, and why, or we'll possibly be hyping maybe if Game 5 is on Sunday, then Monday would be travel game, Game 6 would be on Tuesday. We would be coming to you next week on the deciding Game 7 of the World Series. That'd be pretty fantastic, pretty bonerific. But, like I said, we got to make it to Game 5 first. That's the main goal we're going for here. Mets just got to win one so that we can get all 4 major sports going on the same day this Sunday. Pro basketball, pro baseball, pro football, pro hockey, all in the same 24-hour period. Let's hope. All right, final bit of baseball news getting out of the World Series. There was a coaching change involving a playoff team from this year. The LA Dodgers decided to part ways with their manager, Don Mattingly, of New York Yankees player fame, mostly. They made the playoffs, won their division, but lost to the Mets, who are in the World Series, and they felt that was enough reason to fire Don Mattingly, even though he's made the playoffs almost every year that he's been the manager there. They don't care. They won a championship. So he got canned by the Dodgers. Don't know who they got as a new guy, if they even have their new guy yet. I would assume that will be a big process, that they will look for the biggest name resume that they can find here in the off season. However, it is rumored that Don Mattingly will not be unemployed for long, that there is at least one team interested in him and that he has possibly already met with, and that being the Florida Marlins. Which, hey, if you're going to be a baseball manager, that's either the best place to manage or the worst place to manage. It just all depends on what your priorities are. If you want a lot of attention, if you want to win a lot of games, if you, any of those things, you do not want to be the manager of Florida. If you want to make a ton of money, to have one of the easiest jobs in the world, where there really are no life or death consequences whatsoever. You win some, you lose some, whatever. Just show up, have fun, do the best you can. Enjoy the nice weather, no state income tax, beautiful scenery. We'll just leave it at that. Then, hey, honestly, to me, I would love to be the manager of the Florida Marlins. If Don Mattingly turns down the offer, Marlins front office, you can contact me, Scotty Ball, here at Balls Deep Sports Talk and offer me the job, and I will more than likely take it. I will have to consult with a few people first, but I'm telling you right now, I'll take the job if you offer it to me. All right, so there is our baseball talk, our baseball meat of the show, wrapped up and good to go. And like I said, keep an eye on the rest of the World Series. Game 2 tonight. Game 3 will be on Friday. Game 4 on Saturday. Game 5, hopefully, if it makes it there, on the best sports day of the year, this coming Sunday. All right, let's see. What do we talk next here on the show? We got plenty of stuff to talk about yet. Haven't done NFL football at all. We'll go through the college football real quick. You know what? Since we got Jerry Kill out of the way here, let's finish off the college football part or other topics. Gophers, as I mentioned, coming off of a bye last week, and this week they're going up against Michigan. Michigan, I want to say, is ranked like number 15, something like that. They've only got 1 or 2 losses this year. Their last loss to Michigan State was, they had that game won, lost on a fluke on the last play of the game, as we discussed here. Michigan, if things hadn't happened with Jerry Kill the way they did, I think Michigan would have come out and beat us somewhere between 45 to 0 and 72 to 10, somewhere in there. We'd score between 0 and 10. They'd score between 45 and 75. That was my prediction for this upcoming week's game until the news with Jerry Kill this morning. Now knowing that news, I think the game will actually be closer. Michigan will definitely win. They should hang at least 30 to 40 on us. But we're going to play fired up, inspired, passionate football. We're going to play overachiever, underdog football. And we'll probably have a lot better play calling, play adjustments, schematic designs, game management than we ever had with Jerry Kill at the helm. Because, again, he wasn't a good coach, guys. Sorry. But, yeah, so there's your... that's what the Gophers got going on this week. Let's see. Oh, the University of Miami, Florida head coach was fired as well in the past week. So, like I said, the college carousel, if you've been following college football the last, 3-4 weeks, Spurrier and Kill and the Florida guy and Sarkisian and just, man, the list keeps every week. There is 1 or 2 at least new head coaches that are no longer the coach of the team they were the week before in college football this year. So we got that. Yeah, finishing off the head coaching news. Also, Baylor, who's been a top 5 team all year in the college football rankings this year, they lost their starting quarterback, whose last name is Russell. That's a good, strong last name. I know some Russells, and that's a fine character in every Russell I've ever known. So, that being said, he is out for the year. Anytime anybody loses their starting quarterback for the year, it's difficult. When you're in college football, the depth is not as good as it is in the pros. You got a team like Baylor that is 100% reliant on scoring 45 to 65 points every game in order to win. They have no defense. They simply outshoot people in shootouts every week with their Heisman Trophy candidate quarterback Russell, who is now, as I mentioned, out for the season. So look for Baylor either this week or next week, but very soon, to pick up their first loss of the year. When they do, they will drop dramatically. Even if they manage not to lose this week or next week, they will drop in the rankings from here on out throughout the rest of the season. So let's get to those rankings real quick, and also what games were interesting last week and what we got for games this week. All right, well, let's give you the results from last week first. So, okay, it appears here that on the Thursday night game we had, oh, that's right, I remember that, yes, Thursday night we had 21 ranked Temple in action. They won 24-14 over unranked East Carolina. Little unimpressive, but whatever, at least they got the win. But then we had 20th ranked California at the time playing unranked UCLA, who has been up and down. They've been inside the top 10 this year. They've been outside of the top 25 this year. California has the consensus, at least at the moment, the consensus number one quarterback.